I mean, I think that, you know, one of the things that we say at the very beginning of the year is we don't want to be a team quoted of unnamed sources. So if you're going to say something, you got to put your name next to it. And Marcus's frustrations were obvious and evident. And you know what? In a lot of ways, I thought he said a lot of stuff that, you know, can't really argue in the last two games. And so we need to be a lot better than we were at finishing out games, at handling adverse situations in games, and go from there. But you know, as long as we can put our name next to it, I'm good.
You mentioned not feeling joy this year, the group not feeling joy as a team.
That is a direct result of letting games like that go away and not feeling as together as we need to be. And so I talk about connectivity all the time. If you're super connected as a team and you play with great physical effort all the time, then it's fun as hell. And when you go back and forth, then it's not as fun. And so that's, to me, like, fun is doing your job well at a high level over and over, and then you kind of catapult off the energy of the results that it brings. And the reality is we've been pretty good, with the exception of two games where we blew it late.
You did say it's been a long time that it had been this way. What's kind of your gauge? Obviously, wins and losses, inflated, deflated, but your gauge on kind of what the chemistry of this group has been together from what you see?
Every group has to work its way into the best chemistry it can be, and you know, obviously we've got a ways to go, but you know, the really great teams get there, and you know, we'll find out. Our story will be told at the end if we made it or not, right? This group likes each other. It's a well-intentioned group. I think that obviously we've talked about it. All of the different challenges of roles and everything else have been something that has made it difficult at times, but those have actually been much better of late. You know, I thought the biggest thing is it's just, you know, we haven't played well, especially in the third quarters. And when you look at it, you know, you look at the way we've started third quarters in the last couple of games, but also in the last month, and it's just got to get a lot better. And it's not just the starting lineup, it's the whole group. So there's a lot of things that go with that, but we have to play better. And you know, ultimately, that's why I said the other day, like, I've got to be the one that I got to do a better job of helping and making sure that we're playing to the standard we need to play to and operating to that. And go from there.
Sorry. These guys always seem to have fun after practice. How much does a lack of practice play into these guys not having fun?
I think when you lose, it's not fun. You know, like, and also it's right after the game, right? So like that's part of it. When you lose big leads, when you know you're getting booed, rightfully so, off the court, like it's not like, hey man, that was awesome. You know, like that sucks. It's not fun. So whatever. Like, play well.
Do you think that getting a chance to get in here and practice and work?
I think it's always helpful to be together in a less than in a non-game situation, whether that is film, workouts, practice, whatever. Yeah, that's probably true.
So you feel his comments are more kind of a snapshot in time as opposed to an assessment of the season, so to speak?
You can ask him. You know, again, I think one of the things about Marcus is he'll tell you, and you know, ultimately, our job is still to be a better team than we've been, and you know, I think the challenges are obviously great as we move forward. When you're just thinking about the other teams, so we've got to be a lot better ourselves, and you know, my goal is to hopefully get to the point where we feel that way.
But from your perspective, in terms of how you categorize his feelings and also from what you agreed with to some extent.
I don't want to categorize his feelings. Or my biggest thing is I've had frustrations. We've all had frustrations, but you know, my reaction to that is I got to do a better job.
Going off what you said kind of a second ago, do you contemplate any changes or any alterations?
Not to the start. Like the start of the games been terrific. Like, you know, I think we're like 1.2 to 1.04 at the start of the games in the last month. It's the other times of the games, whether it's, you know, starters or reserves that we're struggling. It's not, and it's usually the middle. Like, so we just need to sustain our level of play better. We need to make sure that we're better at that. And These are usually trends that go away and then something else pops up.
Did you think of anything? You said you wanted to look at what you could do to
I think I just have to do a way better job of holding us to the standard at which we need to play. It's not about who's playing. It's not about who's in the game, who starts the game, who comes in the game. It's just we just have to play to a better standard for the full 4 quarters, and that's on coaching to me.
Why has
But when you're dealing with young men, it's going to be a father players aren't getting around, or there just isn't as much, as Marcus said, fun. But when you're dealing with grown men, millionaires, guys who have lives, families, how much of a part do you have in terms of chemistry?
We have to all do our part, but I think that, again, I always go back to this, Gary. If we're playing to a great standard and we're supporting each other, and when guys are falling down, we're flying to get them up, and we're cheering from the bench, and when somebody makes a mistake, we pat them on the back, then we're operating at the standard that this town, deserves, right? With effort and teamness. And so, to me, I don't lose sleep at night over the results. I don't lose sleep at night over us not saying it's fun. That's a matter of not doing things the way we need to do them. That's what I'm losing sleep over. And again, I think to me, it's about what this town deserves, and they deserve a team that plays with great effort and teamness.
does the inconsistency on the floor, does that impact us Smart in any way?
Does it impact Marcus?
Yeah.
I think no. I just think we all have to be a little bit better.
How's Kyrie's availability?
Kyrie's not going. I have no idea what that means for Wednesday. Not playing tomorrow.
For just looking back at these last 2 games, from just you reviewing the film, what stuck out to you the most? It seemed like and how big of an issue is just like defense communication-wise for you guys right now?
I mean, Brian, when you lose leads like we lost, you could go all the way from shot selection, defensive communication to, what you ate pregame to whatever. I don't know. Like those are frustrating losses. I was asked this morning at a sponsor event, like, when do you let go of those losses? And when I die, they'll be gone. Those piss you off. Like, and if it doesn't, it's not. You're not in a good place. That's why I don't care what Marcus said. Like, it's not fun when you lose those games. And we need to play better on everything. It's not just the defensive end of the floor, but you got to be tied together. You got to play with great effort all the way through the game to make that happen.
Seems like you guys have had periods of semi-regular frustration this year. What has this journey been like for you? Have you learned anything about the team dynamics?
I'll talk. Not really. I mean, I expected this to be, to be a difficult one. But I do think that I'll talk about the journey when it's over. So I'll address that, what it's been for me, and what we ultimately become, after it's all over, whenever that may be.
You surprised how connected Philly is, right out of the gate?
This is, as you know, when you've got a team that was right there anyways. When they get, just 1 or 2 special guys, and then also fill in with really athletic, skilled bench guys that are very versatile. There's probably a little bounce in their step. There's a buzz to that. We even talked about it with the Clippers with, when new guys come in, it kind of gives you a fresh, giddy up. And obviously Philly's playing great. They were already good, by the way, really good, really well coached, great system, great energy. Now they're pretty close to ridiculous. That's a heck of a team.
There aren't many teams that can put out lineups with that much size for their starting unit. I mean, how do you kind of feel?
Well, I think one of Philly's things the last few years has been they can pick on matchups because there's always a physical advantage somewhere. So you better be really tied together because you're not always going to be able to play one-on-one. You're going to have to double some. You're going to have to fly around. You're going to find a matchup you weren't initially on. And now, I saw where Brett said he always is interested to see who guards Tobias because, a lot of teams were putting their point guard on Chandler. And Chandler's a heck of a player. He could post you, but Tobias obviously takes advantage of that as well. When they go to the bench, they're way more versatile, especially on the defensive end of the floor, than they have been in the past. So I think they have a chance to be a special group.